Om Yogis. Today we're going to move through a yin sequence to help us to release or move through sorrow. So please ensure that you make your transition slowly and respectfully. And we'll start in a kneeling position. Inhaling, circling the arms up overhead. And as you exhale out through the mouth, bringing your palms down. A grounding breath towards the floor, nice and slow. So with the rhythm of your own breath, inhale, arms circle up. Exhale out through the mouth, palms down. Fingers are together. Let's do this a few times on your own. Beautiful. When you're ready, bring your hands to the floor, turn your fingers in towards you for a wrist stretch here. Closing your eyes, breathing deep. Feel the earth underneath you. Feel the breath inside of you. Allowing sensations to come forward. When we work in this way with a yin practice, we want to encourage sensation, but not go beyond our limits. So just find an edge where you feel something. Not too much, not too little. And then fall into that feeling. From here, lovelies, let's come into a super slow cat-cow. Inhaling as you offer your heart and exhaling as you round your back. Moving to the rhythm of your own breath, allowing your breath to initiate the movement. And then come into stillness when you're ready. shift your weight back to sit on your heels for a wide-legged child's pose. Take your knees apart and stretch your arms forward, resting your head towards or to the floor. So lovely. Today's practice is inspired by, excuse my pronunciation, I couldn't find how to pronounce this, Zhelya, I believe, the Slavic Goddess of Sorrow. Dark-haired, beautiful and otherworldly Zhelya could be found in the mists of the aftermath of battle. So she would be seen on the battlefields when the battles were over. She had no temples or associations with worldly things. She lived in between the world of the living and the dead. And she spent her time making sure that the dead were honored and guided through the in-between worlds and properly delivered into the afterlife. Zhelya mourned each fallen warrior deeply, having a profound respect for the life that once was. And the transition that this being was now embarking upon. So in this way, although Zhelya dealt with dark things, she was not a dark goddess, but one that could deeply empathize with the human emotion of loss. Such a real and raw emotion. We can almost picture Zhelya on the battlefield now, having so much experience with that emotion in the aftermath of battle, where there was always such a lot of loss. And slowly, respectfully come out of child's pose. Come to all fours and then just melt your heart for a cat stretch here. Taking your arms forward, keeping your hips above your knees. Hold and breathe. Beautiful. Now come back into child's pose, but this time closed child's pose with the knees together and the arms trailing behind you. Ensuring that you make your transitions slowly and respectfully today, no rush. Find the sensations in your body, the feelings in your body, and try to fall into them a little more. honoring your transition today in your practice. Every transition that you notice. Like the goddess Zhelya. And then slowly and respectfully transition into Sphinx pose. You can rest your elbows on a blanket and your head upon a block if you like here. Take your time and I will meet you there. So Zhelya's power is tied into the understanding that loss is very raw and very real. And loss is a transitional process during which we enter into a sort of in-between world, or if you like, the world of Zhelya. She was not altogether alone in this world, but lived here with her sister Kana. And together they shared a compassionate role of helping people pass from one world to the next. Legend tells that their voices were the last thing a warrior would hear, and that sound was so beautiful and serene that the battle would disappear before it. So perhaps you guys have been in some personal battle at some point today, this week, this month, this year. You can almost picture Zhelya and Kana. And their voices making that battle just disappear, letting it go. Letting it go, if only for a few moments in your practice today. When you're ready, slowly transition, respectfully transition to lie upon your belly. Make a pillow with your hands and just rest for a few moments here. Zhelya's role was not one of glory, but grounded in the shadows of remembrance and compassion, helping people traverse between worlds in ease and grace. a few moments just breathing into your belly. Let your lower back relax and spread. And have a pillow or a block handy as we come into, for want of a better name, straight jacket pose. We're going to take the left arm over the right and cross your arms across your body as high up as possible, and then lay back down over them. It's an awkward transition, so take your time, be super respectful with yourself. If this is too much, you can leave the right arm out. Just take the right arm above your head and take your left arm across your body. Lying on your belly. You might need that block as a little pillow, or you might not. Move into the realm of sensation. Finding your edge. Not too much, not too little. And relax. Sometimes if this pose is a little tight on the lower back, you could always place a rolled up blanket just to support you under your hips. So Zhelya ensured that every soul and every loss, and no matter how great or how small, was honored. She understood what it meant to be forced to leave something behind. For the fallen warriors of Zhelya's time, it was their lives that they left behind. But for us, even during the course of a normal lifetime, we have to endure many losses, big and small, and many sorrows. And we should know that all sorrow is understood and held by Zhelya. In other words, we are not alone. Slowly and respectfully, we're going to come out of that, and we're going to do the same pose, this time threading your right arm over your left. If you went the other way, just do it the other way. If it's too much to do both arms at the same time, I believe it's your left arm that's coming up over your head and your right arm that's coming across your body now. And we lie down over the arms. Use a prop under the hips if it aggravates your lower back. Find your edge and let go. So all human sorrow is understood by Zhelya. And this could be the loss of a person or a part of our lives that will never be the same because something has changed or something has gone. This could be a letting go of a belief system, a job, or a relationship, or even the letting go of our old limitations. All these human losses and sorrows are understood by Zhelya. So lovelies, we are not alone. This is what Zhelya reminds me, we are not alone. Beautiful, so slowly and with respect, come out of that pose and gently press back to downward facing dog, just stretching out the arms. And from downward facing dog, we're going to bring the left foot forward for pigeon. Prop underneath your left hip if you need to. And we're going to stay up. We're not going to sink into the pose so much. We'll keep the body upwards. And if you can, point your fingers backwards towards you. Close your eyes. Find your edge and drop in. Zhelya encourages us to walk forwards reverently through our transitions from one world to the next. Have reverence for your journey, have respect for your journey, honor your transitions, honor your losses, honor your sorrows. You are not alone. Okay, now from here, actually let's stay here a little longer. Sorry. Zhelya encourages us to walk forwards reverently through our transitions from one world to the next. So we transition reverently now from pigeon back to downward facing dog, slowly in your own time. And from downward facing dog, come to your knees, knees together, hands behind you for a closed child's pose. Moving slowly into downward facing dog. And when you're ready, your right foot is coming forward for pigeon on the other side. Propping under the right hip if you need to. Staying upright and pointing your fingers backwards, if at all possible. Zhelya encourages us to walk forwards reverently through our transitions from one world to the next. And yes, sometimes we do get lost or stuck between the worlds of the old and the new. And lovelies, we can get lost for quite some time. During those transition times of our lives, it's often common to feel stuck in the in-between. I can't go back, but I can't move forwards. And this is natural to a point. But the in-between is not a place for mortal beings to get lost within or to live within. The goddess Zhelya wants to help us to move through. She vows to guide us through transitions of loss and sorrow without diminishing the difficulties we might be facing. with respect and honoring your transition, come out of pigeon and press back to downward facing dog. Stretching the arms, stretching the legs, and slowly coming onto your knees for a closed child's pose. The arms trail back behind you. Rest here. When you're ready, lovely, take 2 blocks. We're going to come into supported fish. One block is behind your heart, the other behind your head. So Zhelya wants to help us move through. She vows to guide us through transitions of loss and sorrow without diminishing the difficulties and the raw and real emotions that we might be facing. She asks us to keep our hearts open to those raw, real emotions. Allow them to pass through us in perfect transparency. Moving from the inside to the outside, from one world to the next. Zhelya also reminds us how we respond to the pain of the past is relevant to what we become in the future. So she implores us to tread carefully with dignity, keeping the heart in the frequency of compassion. How we respond to the pain of the past is relevant to what we become in the future. tread carefully with dignity and keep your heart in the frequency of compassion. So in your own time, in your own way, compassionately, bring yourself off of your blocks and just lie flat for a moment on your mat. Respect your transition. Gently, gently now, bring the soles of your feet to the floor, knocking your knees together. One hand comes to your belly, the other on your chest. And start to breathe in such a way that you feel your belly inflate. And then your chest inflate as you breathe in. As you breathe out, relax. Full yogic breath, abdomen, chest and collarbones. Breathing in, abdomen, chest and collarbones. Breathing out, abdomen, chest and collarbones. Feeling the waves of breath underneath your hands. And the transition of a full inhalation and a deep exhalation is honored. just release your hands now. Continue with that breath. Abdomen, chest, collarbones. Breathing out, abdomen, chest, collarbones. Honoring your transition now, let's bring the knees into the chest. Just breathe normally. Hugging your knees into your chest. Cradle pose. Just hold this for a few minutes. When things are raw and very real, you are not alone. We can picture Zhelya, the Slavic goddess of sorrow, gently with us, guiding us through whatever process that we're in. Ensuring that we make our transitions slowly and respectfully. When you're ready from here, roll to your left side. Fetal pose, just roll to your left and rest here. Super slow, gentle transition brings us back up to seated. We're going to bring a bolster under the knees and come into forward fold. And prop yourself as necessary. Find your edge and drop in. And we see through this practice with Zhelya how difficult it can be to let go. But how none of us can avoid it. Ultimately, this is where life is taking us. Towards the final act of letting go. So all these practices that we do, all these times where we really let go, we acclimatize ourselves to that final act of letting go for a steady, gentle, easeful transition. We can only hope that when that time comes, we hear the voice of Zhelya, and the battle, or the life that can sometimes feel like such a battle, will just fall away easily and beautifully. We can take a moment now to just honor all our ancestors, everyone that has come before us, that has taken that transition, has been through that transition. Honoring them with Zhelya. Okay, when you're ready, slowly and respectfully come out of that fold. And we're going to parallel the left leg to the short edge of the mat and the right leg to the long edge as best we can, setting up a bolster to support us on the left side, so that when we get the legs into this shape, which are parallel to both the long edge and the short edge of the mat, we can twist to the left side and rest over the bolster. Take your time getting there, no rush. And once you get there, practice letting go. Let go. Zhelya teaches us that we can be free from all that has been. That we can be in a state of honoring remembrance in a loving way. If loved ones or dark things have passed, we can be loving with ourselves. We can let go and move gently, softly and slowly through those worlds that can feel so in between during times of sorrow. Honoring yourself, honoring your transition, and slowly come out of that. Let's set ourselves up for the same pose on the other side. So the right leg comes to the short edge of the mat, left leg to the long edge. Bolster support is on the right side and we twist to rest over it. Zhelya teaches us that we can be free from everything that has been, we can be in a state of remembrance in an honoring, loving way. If loved ones have passed, we can still love them. If dark things have passed, we can be loving with ourselves. And we can move gently, softly and slowly through the worlds, through the raw and real feelings of sorrow and loss that can make us feel so in between. When you're ready, lovelies, honoring your transitions, start to unravel yourself, bring yourself out of that pose. And we meet sitting up with the soles of the feet on the floor, hugging the knees in towards the chest, wrapping the arms around the knees. Let your head relax, maybe put a blanket to your knees so your head can relax down. Hold yourself here. that through the rawness and the realness of our sorrow, we can feel so alone. The Slavic goddess, Zhelya, inspires me to believe that we're not. We are not alone. When you're ready, lovelies, set yourself up for Shavasana. Make sure that you'll be warm enough for the next 10 minutes or so. As you exhale, let yourself go completely. If your life has felt like a little bit of a battlefield recently, imagine Zhelya's voice and that battlefield just falling away. Be at peace. Goddess Zhelya teaches us to honor our own and other people's transitions. She reminds you your heart is larger than all your sorrows, and there is no sadness you can encounter that your soul is not large enough to move through in time with guidance and in ease and grace. But as we move through these times of transition and loss and sorrow, Zhelya gives us her empathy and compassion with the journey that we are on. She understands how important it is to quietly honor our sorrow and the necessity and dignity of that. Her message is to honor your loss and don't rush past your sorrows. Give them the time to move through your body so they don't remain trapped within you. Only then will you make the transition from one world to the next. Or from the old to the new. And while we make that transition, we are not alone. If we can remember Zhelya, the Slavic goddess of sorrow, slowly now, start to deepen your breath, moving fingers and toes, taking whatever stretch your body needs. Hugging your knees into your chest, massage your hips a little side to side. And then come to lie on your right side, fetal position here. And just stay here and contemplate your transitions. Honor your losses and be with your sorrows. And open up your ears now. When we come up to seated, which you can do so when you're ready, we'll bring ourselves into a meditation position where you can just stay on your side if you like to for this. Listening to this meditation, this mantra, Akal. Literally, Akal means a cool between worlds. It is a mantra to remind us that nothing ever dies. Rather, life as we know it changes and merges with the next world, so we can all move on in ease and grace. So coming to a comfortable seat, just take a few moments listening to, absorbing this mantra, calling between the worlds. May we all move on in ease and grace. If you're lying on your side, you can bring yourself to a comfortable seat. And everyone, we can bring our hands to our heart now, giving thanks to Zhelya, the Slavic goddess of sorrow, who inspired this practice today. With so much love. Namaste.